Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
So yeah, Juan, realistically, bro, like just wanted to hop on a call with you and just chat it up,
Hmm.
like see how your experience has been with the program and really capture, you've been crushing it recently, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I would love to, just see your perspective so that like, I
Hmm.
can help understand, what's helped you, number one. And number two, just kind of convey what's helped you for, other people that are maybe looking to do something similar that we've done here. Um, and give that like inside sneak peek in terms of like what it's like working together with me, the team,
Yeah,
um,
for sure. I mean, I've had
filling out
some of
the
my
right.
coworkers notice, some of my success.
Yeah,
I'll have appointments show up and they'll be like, "Oh, is that another Facebook lead? Is that another Facebook ad?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you know it.
love that. Yeah.
Yeah, just putting it in and putting in the work. But it's been really nice. Sydney's been a really great help. He's
Mm,
been helping me out with kind of refining the ads, seeing what works, what doesn't work. Um, and I've just been trying my best to keep up with the leads, also managing my own time at the dealership, do my tasks there, and just trying to just really soak it all in. But this is like a good first full month that I was able to really experience the ads and how it all works and
yeah.
with you guys, and it's been great.
Yeah, it took some time
Still,
to kind of get you, squared
mhm,
away, set up with all the, systems and processes. Yeah. Um,
right, yeah, still getting used to that and just really refining my process. Yeah.
100%. So, I guess out of curiosity, man, like where would you say, before you joined the program, like how was selling cars? Where were you at before you joined? I
Mhm.
guess explain that, and then we can kind of walk through what the experience has been like for you and what has
Oh
changed.
yeah, yeah. So before this, I mean, it was just the normal day-to-day things. Clock in, sit on the phone desk for a while, take your turn outside, taken up, hopefully sell the car, and then I would maybe, post a few things on my own social media, trying to advertise myself there. Um, Sometimes I would take it upon myself and put a few cars on Marketplace or Craigslist, and that's worked a couple times. But I didn't really have a process. I just kind of saw a cool car or a cheap car or a neat car, put it up there, and sometimes I'd get some hit.
Hmm.
But it was really just relying on the dealership
Yeah.
and their leads and their system.
Yeah. So how long were you in that, zone of operation for in terms of your day to day?
For 3.5 years.
Hmm. Right
Yeah, I'm
on.
about to hit my fourth year mark this month.
Right. And what
So
were you averaging in terms of like income before, basically working together in terms of your
yeah,
money?
my first year was probably around 60, 70.
Hmm.
Second year was probably in the 80s. Third year, last year, it was huge. I mean, it was like almost 140.
Right, right.
Um, and then I saw kind of the change with, because obviously COVID affected a bunch of this market and everything. Um, I knew a change was coming, and I knew if I didn't do something different, my results weren't going to change from before. So that's why I jumped into this your program.
Right.
So
Yeah,
because I saw an opportunity there, and it's been great so far.
I love that. Because like from what I remember, yeah, we're coming off like one of the biggest years we've ever had in the car industry, right? Like people were
Yeah.
making money left and right.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and yeah, it
Yeah. It
started,
was too easy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like the grosses were great, man. You
Hmm.
selling the same amount of cars, making more money than ever, right?
Yeah.
Um, but we started seeing. I remember on our first call we had that like discussion where it's like, dude, like, last year was great, but things were starting to shift for yourself as you like you mentioned,
Hmm.
right? Um, so yeah, that's kind of what got you into the program, and I guess like now how has that feeling of, where you were at, let's say even a few months when we started back? I think it's been about 3 months roughly, right?
Yeah. About. Mhm.
Um, what do you feel like has been the biggest change from, where you were at before you started, taking action and changing your current situation?
Mhm.
And, what would you say changed from that moment before you went all in and actually decided to change your situation? What would you say is different now?
I think now, um, just just my uh, opportunities are just more now, with these ads that I've been running and this kind of new routine that I've been starting. I'm looking at it from a different lens in a way, like managing myself, managing my own time, and not having to rely really on the dealership.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a point in time with these ads and Facebook and all this, since I joined your program, where I came in and I had this one really successful day, and I think I put in the wins section of the chat, and I was just busy all day with my own appointment that I created for myself, and it felt amazing. I was like, dude, if I could do this every day, like I really wouldn't have to be on a schedule. I'd be on my own schedule, be on my own time. So it's really showed me a different perspective of what can be done.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing what the future holds, and really just not having to rely on the dealership anymore in a way.
Right.
Obviously it's still 90% of what I have to do, but given that chance and seeing what can be done just gave me a whole bunch of things to look forward to.
Yeah. It's like a glimpse into what could, what it could look like with your business.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah, I guess like, parlaying off of that point, like, how do you feel like the long-term impact of your career is looking like now that you have, systems and processes in place to actually continue growing and have a little bit more control over your day-to-day and what you're doing?
Oh yeah. Definitely more optimistic about what can happen. I know I was on a call with Sydney earlier today, and he's like, yeah, eventually we'll hire your own assistant and things like that. And then for me, I'm like, my own assistant, that's kind of crazy to even think about that. I'm like, if I can get that busy to where I really only have to focus on what I do best and first, and someone else can be in the background and just kind of help me set those appointments, just really is, I mean, life changing, realistically, because without these ads and this Facebook marketplace and all that, I wouldn't have hit my bonus for one. So I wouldn't be making the kind of money that I did make last month. So if I can do this consistently and then scale up from that, I mean, sky's the limit.
Right. Yeah, because you just came off of, like you said, I think a $12,000 or $13,000 month, somewhere around there, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. And I mean, last year that was kind of the norm, but this year, up until now, I haven't made that kind of money. I was in like 7, 8, maybe 9, maybe. But this is just a peak, and all because of the ads and the systems I have in place thanks to you guys.
Yeah, I feel like we're just getting warmed up, dude. You're in month 3.
Oh, we are. I'm just really a month. I'd say like a month and a half into these leads or these
Yeah,
ads
at
and
least
stuff.
for the Facebook funnel, right? Because
Right.
I know you've
Yeah.
been in the program for a while, but this new addition, I know that like has kind of flipped everything like 180 in terms of like the system, and I think it's been very helpful for, as you can see, a lot of other students in the program has also been utilizing it, and I feel like you're one of the ones that have
Oh yeah.
capitalized on it, very very well. Like you've listened to everything that we've asked you to do, and like voila, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know
I
what I
know,
mean?
and I
Like
still
it's
punch
great.
myself, and I get myself. I'm like, I know I could be doing better. It's just I'm so busy with this and that, and I need to my leads and all this other stuff. But there's more opportunity to be better for sure. There's always room to improve, is what I think. And yeah, I mean, you guys have been super awesome. I know Sydney's coming up with some other stuff that I'm pretty excited about.
Yep.
And then, gosh, I was gonna say something else, but I kind of went off track.
No, you're good. Yeah, I'm also curious, like, let's say if, anyone else is looking in on your, experience,
Mhm.
what do you feel like has been, what would you say to somebody that's like, a little on the fence or like is looking into lead generation, but they're not sure?
Yeah,
What would you tell to that type of person that's, just looking into it and not too
yeah.
sure if it works or what it looks like? What would you
Oh,
say?
for sure. I mean, even just like my own coworkers have asked me, like, oh, you're setting up your own ads. Like, I see you on Facebook. A lot of my coworkers see me on Facebook, like my ads, and
Yeah.
they're like, oh, I see your posts and stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm trying out this new thing. I'm trying to, you know, get in my own leads, have my own internet department kind of deal. I think this month I've generated 40 to 50 leads. I was telling one of my coworkers, she's like, oh wow, that's great. Keep it up. And then someone else was asking me like more in-depth questions, like, oh, what is it? Like, what do you use? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, that CRM doesn't look like our CRM. Like, what are you doing? And I tell them, I'm like, well, I joined this program and they're just helping me, market myself. So, and it's showing results. Obviously, you can look at the board. I sold a Facebook lead today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if anyone would be on the fence, I would say definitely consider it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you don't know until you try, really,
Yeah.
is what it is. And there's always opportunity, always room for improvement.
Yeah. And I guess another great question, man, is like, what made you feel like, okay, now is the time for me to take a jump? Because there's never really a right time for anybody, but I'm curious what made you feel like,
Oh
okay,
yeah,
now's the time for me to actually want to, do something about this situation.
yeah. Um, a lot of things I've thought about before is like, talk is cheap. You got to act on something you want to do.
Mm,
So I kept telling myself, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? I go back to my old routine and stick to the dealership and their ways and their old processes, or I
mm,
leap into this, find an opportunity to scale, grow myself, and be better at what I do. So I really took it as just a way
dude,
to expand myself.
I don't know if you can see, but that gave me chills, man. That gave me chills.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude, that's what it's all about, man. Like,
just taking action is all it is.
yeah, like I'm super proud to see that, you went and bet on yourself.
Pretty much. I told one of my coworkers that actually. I was like, I'm betting on me. Worst
Mhm.
case, I mean, I go back to doing what we all do.
Right. And I feel
Yeah,
like that's where a lot of people struggle, and it's a lot of the mental game, man. Like,
it's
once
huge. Mental is huge. Yeah.
Mhm. I feel like the systems and processes are one, right? But I
Hmm.
feel like the reason why I've seen you succeed quickly is you came in with the right mindset and the right attitude and the right
Hmm.
perspective on wanting to grow, right?
Yeah.
And dude, like, I gotta give my applause to you because like amazing job just coming in here and like believing, being like, you know what, I'm gonna make it work no matter what.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
I feel like a lot of people get hung up because they number one don't believe in themselves, but
That's
um,
a huge factor, but it goes back to what you said earlier. It's all mental.
mm-hmm,
If you get fried on one deal, that can fry you for the rest of the month. You
mm-hmm,
know, but if you're on a hot streak, everybody who touches the deal, it's
yeah,
just crazy. It's all mental.
yeah. Um, Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, in terms of the mental game, like what do you feel like has been some of the biggest shifts for you that's really helped you out when going through this process so far?
Just having a lot of self confidence, I guess. Not trying to be like cocky or anything, but also humbling myself in a way to where I can, take what I know that I do best
Hmm.
and hone that in, and then on top of that, try to learn a new skill. And that's where the marketing kind of and advert myself, kind of putting myself out there,
Hmm.
because I can see how for some people it can be a little challenging to like put yourself on Facebook, have a lot of
Right.
people look at you. I get comments on my ads, good ones and negative ones, but it's like you just have to not overthink it and just go with the flow, and good will come out of it as long as you stick to it.
Yeah. That's a big mental shift is just doing it, like
Yeah,
taking
yeah.
action, right? Because at least for here, like, you see the proof of concept, but it's really up to, the individual to really make it work, right? And
Hmm.
really make the changes necessary in your day to day to, really dial it in. So yeah,
Yeah.
you know, uh, so basically before, right? In terms of, your results, if you were to encapsulate the result, the biggest shifts, how would you, kind of boil that down for somebody that's watching?
I would say keep at it, or really just believe in yourself, but also, I mean, the results show for themselves. I mean, this last month was huge success, especially since I've been running these ads. So, you know, it's just been great.
Yeah. And so what would you say is like next for you, Juan? Like in terms of the life changes now that you've seen kind of a glimpse of what you could run your business like and what,
Mhm.
your daily operations could be in the future. What are you expecting to kind of set up for yourself now that you're in this position?
So at this point, I just want to refine my process with these leads that I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting, figure out a way to obviously scale it,
Mm-hmm.
and then just scale it from there, and you know stay busy with this, and hopefully it just becomes the new normal.
Yep. Love that.
I can create my own schedule. I can take my days off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was huge for me too, because I love spending time with my family.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's like, and with the dealership life, I mean, past 3, 4 years, you know, I knew if I wanted to sell cars, I had to spend more time at the dealership.
Mm-hmm.
So I would, you know, I wouldn't take any days off. I would work all day, every day, sell a lot of cars, but then I wouldn't have a lot of time with my family.
Yeah.
And then I came into a point where like I need to try to balance that out. And this has given me a glimpse of to doing that. You can balance your life and business and
That's
still
big.
have a great business.
That's big. That's big, man. Yeah, because quality of life, especially in the car business, everyone knows bell to
It's tough.
bell,
Yeah.
working 6 to 7 days a week, no days off, working
Hmm.
40 days straight, you know.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, in terms of your personal life, like how do you feel this is going to have a long-term impact based off of what you're trying to achieve personally?
I think it's gonna have a huge positive impact. On not just myself, but the people around me.
Mm,
Um, Definitely motivating some people too. I can see it in my brother's eyes, or both my brothers. They're younger than me, so they see me on Facebook too. You know, they're like, "Yeah, it's my brother. You know, he's hustling."
mm,
And I even had one guy from an RV dealership. He messaged me, he's like, "Hey, bro, you motivated me. Like, how did you start your own campaign? How'd you do this and how'd you do that?"
mm.
And I was kind of like, you know, you just got to take action. You just got to put yourself out there and believe in yourself, and you know, you'll find a way. It'll all come together. It's just about taking that first step. And yeah, I think my life is going to be a lot better with this, and
Mm.
really, really look forward to seeing what it brings.
Yeah. Yeah, quality of life, eh? Like putting yourself in a better position, better schedule, less stress, and a
Hmm.
brighter future, dude. Like that's what it's all about
Better
at the end of
future.
the day.
Yeah,
What it's all about, right? Well,
yeah.
yeah, dude. I appreciate you for sharing like your progress so far. I know we're just getting warmed up, and I honestly just wanted to capture it like as we got it, because it was just like, oh, dude, awesome. It's been like
Yeah.
a solid month. Like you hit like 12 to 13,000, and like
Yeah.
in a year, that's basically what you were doing last year, and you're maintaining that
Yeah.
even through a recession.
Right.
Highest interest rates we've ever seen in a long time. Like
Yep.
all
Yep.
these things that are happening right now, and we're not only maintaining but on
Hmm.
trajectory to keep growing. You
Oh
know,
yeah. And I mean, there's opportunity everywhere. I mean, and I try to at least count and figure the deals that I'm losing within the month,
mhm,
and know that I can, and there is a way to capture those clients, you know,
yeah,
those deals. So there's definitely still a lot of potential,
yep,
you know, and I just
love
see it
it.
every day. I'm like, dude, like there's so much money in this business. It's crazy.
Hmm. Yeah, like dude, I like you're starting to see how you can get to those 15, 20, $30,000 months, right? Because
Oh
now
yeah.
that you have a pipeline, who like
Hmm.
it's up to you, right? It's been up to you
Yep.
this point. And all we need to do now is scale. Now that you're profitable, that's the next step,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, I think a lot of times people, don't see the vision until they see somebody like you that like breaks that false belief for them that, oh, the
Right.
car business is what it is, and they get stuck, right?
Right.
Um, and yeah, a lot of people are still in that same zone that where you were before, like that 3 to 4 years where you're kind of doing the same thing day in and day out, and you're along for the ride, good month,
Hmm.
bad month, market, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think it's been great. I wanted to showcase that you can, do this, and you're breaking false beliefs for other people, because some people a lot of people in the car business, could never dream of making six figures, making 120, 140, 150, one
Oh yeah.
sixty, 180, right? Like,
Hmm.
um, so yeah, I think that's great that, you have this potential, and like I like within the next 3, 6 months, dude, like I 100% see your vision,
It's
man.
crazy. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think it's great because, correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like you have like that control, that business now. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Right.
I talk about it all the time, and I think this is that transition that you're starting to go through where it's like, oh, I don't have to just leverage and trade all my time for, the income, right? I
Right.
can start, reinvesting into my business and start scaling
Hmm.
it in a different way.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. This
man.
is definitely this. I mean, the car business has definitely given me something to work on, like my entrepreneurship with. And
Hmm.
this with your business and your help, it's been even like tenfold to what it can be. So like I appreciate you and Sydney and the whole team.
Yeah, thanks, bro. Appreciate the kind words. It's
Yeah,
been a pleasure working with you as well, man. Your positive attitude's been great. And dude, like again, you're getting warmed up because like we'll capture you in the moment when you're,
literally.
getting 20, 25, 30 grand and they're like, "Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa."
Yeah,
Um,
I know it's crazy. I mean, I've had some of those months, but it was just a little bit of luck,
mhm.
luck and it was a little bit of guess.
Yeah.
Being at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, and that's what we like taking out of the equation. There's no luck. It's just how
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I was about to say. I don't want to rely on that. So
yeah. And that's the thing with sales, right? It's those ups and downs are vicious when, you just feel like you're kind of showing up, like,
right,
oh man, like it's that hope and that prayer that, you have the up, like, or like you have a be back or whatever it is, right? But now you have that peace of mind where it's like, okay, even if it's a bad month or whatever's going on, I still have something else I can rely on and it's
right.
coming from me. Um,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
but yeah, I think that's in the infancy stages because you have the potential to make that the main pipeline.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it's very great being able to capture your experience. Is there anything that you would like, wrap it up with, or anything that you want to tell people that are just getting started?
Yeah. I mean, just take the next step. You know, in believing in yourself, really, and just have a positive mental attitude because that's really what gets a lot of people is that mental, I guess, wall that you have to cross over and just know that you can do it. You know, in the worst case, I mean, you just go back to doing what you're already doing, right?
Yep. There's
So,
yep, there's worst case scenario for most people where they're already living it. You just gotta,
right.
buckle up and
Yeah.
jump in, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Juan, thanks for the interview. I'm gonna wrap this up and then me and you can chat for a couple more minutes here.